The Middle East, a region perpetually simmering with tension, finds itself once again at a crossroads. Former President Donald Trump's recent proposal to relocate Palestinians from Gaza has ignited a firestorm of controversy, drawing condemnation from international actors, and deepening the divide between Israel and its Arab neighbors. Into this volatile landscape steps Secretary of State Marco Rubio, embarking on a diplomatic tightrope walk through the region. Rubio's mission to salvage what he can of Trump's Middle East agenda, including the contentious Gaza proposal, and to shore up support for a potential Israeli-Saudi peace deal. The stakes are incredibly high. Trump's plan, which envisions moving Palestinians to neighboring countries like Egypt and Jordan, has been met with almost universal rejection. Critics decry it as unrealistic, unjust, and potentially destabilizing. The proposal, they argue, ignores the complexities of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict and risks inflaming regional tensions even further. Adding fuel to the fire, Trump has coupled his proposal with threats to cut aid to countries that refuse to cooperate. Rubio, a seasoned politician known for his hawkish stance on foreign policy, now faces the unenviable task of navigating this diplomatic minefield. His first stop is Israel, where he will meet with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to discuss the Gaza plan and other aspects of the U.S.-Israel relationship. From there, he will travel to the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia, two key regional players that have expressed reservations about Trump's approach. The success or failure of Rubio's mission will have far-reaching implications. A misstep could further alienate Arab allies, derail nascent peace efforts, and potentially plunge the region into a new cycle of violence. The Arab world has presented a united front in rejecting Trump's Gaza proposal. Leaders from across the region have condemned the plan as a non-starter, arguing that it violates international law and disregards the rights of the Palestinian people. Egypt, which has played a historically significant role in mediating between Israel and Palestine, has been particularly vocal in its opposition. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi has warned that any attempt to forcibly relocate Palestinians to Egypt would have disastrous consequences, potentially destabilizing the country and jeopardizing its peace treaty with Israel. Instead of embracing Trump's vision, Arab leaders are working on their own counter-proposals, focused on rebuilding Gaza without displacing its population. These plans prioritize humanitarian aid, economic development, and a political solution that addresses the root causes of the conflict. Arab states have made it clear that any long-term solution must include a pathway to Palestinian statehood and a just resolution to the refugee issue. The Arab League, a regional organization comprising 22 Arab states, has called for an emergency meeting to discuss the Gaza issue and coordinate a unified response. The League is expected to reiterate its commitment to a two-state solution based on pre-1967 borders, and to condemn any unilateral actions that could jeopardize peace efforts. Secretary Rubio's diplomatic foray into the Middle East is fraught with challenges. He arrives in a region still reeling from the latest round of violence between Israel and Hamas. While a fragile ceasefire is in place, tensions remain high, and the threat of renewed conflict looms large. The unresolved issue of hostages held by Hamas adds another layer of complexity to the situation. Rubio's itinerary itself reflects the delicate balancing act he must perform. His decision to bypass Egypt and Jordan, two key U.S. allies in the region, speaks volumes about the deep divisions over Trump's Gaza plan. Both countries have been vocal in their opposition to the proposal, and their absence from Rubio's itinerary suggests a deliberate attempt to avoid further straining relations. Instead, Rubio's focus is on engaging with Israel, the UAE, and Saudi Arabia, countries seen as more receptive to elements of Trump's broader Middle East vision. With Israel, the emphasis will likely be on reaffirming the strong bilateral relationship and exploring ways to advance the Trump administration's goal of a comprehensive Israeli-Palestinian peace agreement. In the UAE and Saudi Arabia, Rubio will likely attempt to downplay the more controversial aspects of the Gaza plan, while highlighting areas of potential cooperation, such as countering Iranian influence in the region. Rubio's mission unfolds against a backdrop of decades-long failed attempts to resolve the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Numerous peace initiatives, from the Oslo Accords of the 1990s to more recent efforts by the Obama and Biden administrations, have faltered, leaving behind a legacy of broken promises and shattered hopes. The root causes of the conflict, land disputes, security concerns, the status of Jerusalem, and the right of return for Palestinian refugees, remain as intractable as ever. Previous U.S. administrations have often found themselves caught between supporting Israel, a close ally, and trying to broker a lasting peace agreement that would require concessions from both sides. The Trump administration's approach, characterized by a strong pro-Israel stance and a willingness to upend long-standing diplomatic norms, has further complicated matters. As Rubio embarks on his diplomatic mission, the question remains whether he can succeed where others have failed. Can he bridge the deep divides between Israel and its neighbors, salvage elements of Trump's controversial Middle East policy, and chart a new course toward a more peaceful and stable region? The answers to these questions will have profound implications for the Middle East and the wider world.